Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Pops. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker, and I didn't know if you could connect into the Starliner and let me keep mic and let you hear it. I don't know what's making it.
We can configure that, Butch. Give us a minute, and I'll call you back when it's ready.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep the mic up next to the speaker.
Copy. Yep, good recording. Thanks, Butch. We will pass it on to the team and let you know what we find.
I only got a second, but let me get this straight. So we have astronauts telling us that they're hearing really weird sounds in space, and they even got them recorded. And at the same exact time, coincidentally, they're releasing very problematic articles. If you hadn't heard it, I'm about to show you real quick, and then we'll go over the articles.
Got a question about Starliner?
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker. Here we go.
In space. And this never happens. Now, both these articles came out in the last 2 days. Aliens are already here and a threat to us all. The Pentagon's covering it up, and I have proof, the chilling warning of a former U.S. intelligence officer. Already here and they're a threat to us. I hope y'all do understand what it means when things like this happen all at the same time and what they're leading to. And coordinated as always, a completely different site says UFO expert says aliens have invasion plans and are tinkering with our weapons. Both this and the other one are accredited sources. And then in Colorado at the same time, they're having awful cattle mutilations everywhere. I blanked out all the bad stuff, and they don't have blood, they have black bile. According to a 3-letter agency, there's been over 10,000 reported cattle mutilations in the USA. Things that we cannot do. Surgically removing all the blood from the animal? I mean, come on. So what do y'all think this means? Mars attack? Let me know down in the comments.
There's so much to dissect. Shout out to Inspired by the King. These sounds from space. It sounds like a movie. Maybe because the new Aliens movie just came out. To hear these sounds from space is a creepy coincidence.
Humanoid robots in your house is no longer a thing of the future because 1X have just shocked the world by releasing the first look at Neo. Neo is designed from the ground up to be a consumer robot. In other words, your ethical slave. Yeah. Anything you want it to do around the house, chore-wise, it'll do. Unload the dishwasher, make the bed, hang up the laundry, kiss you goodnight, oil you up. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And to make Neo less intimidating and dangerous, it stands at a short king 5'4" and a skinny king at 25 kg. And if you're wondering why bro's looking like a roadman in a tech fleece, well, this outfit is actually to protect you from pinching or crushing your finger, you know, if you were to get physical. It can run at a speed of 7.5 miles per hour, carry a maximum of 20 kg, and has about a 2 to 4 hour runtime depending on the activity. And I've heard this too many times. The reason it needs to be modeled after a human is because everything we've built in this world is designed for human form. More creepy, yeah, but easier. 1X is now preparing pilot Neo robots for deployment in select homes later this year. So the question is this cool or creepy?
It's a little bit of both, if you ask me. Well, it's not that tall. At 5'4" and 66 pounds ain't nothing. But between that and a robot dog, this world's getting crazy. Ethical slaves are what they call them now. It's starting to feel like iRobot for real. It's starting to feel like iRobot for real.
Alright guys, this right here is $100,000 robot from China. Now we about to go test it out, and let's see what it can do. Okay, now sit. Good boy, good boy. Give me your ball. Give me your ball. I spent the 100. Good boy. 100K robot. Backflip. Do that. Oh! Board. 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 Oh! Ah! Turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it on. That's all right. That's it. That's it. Turn it down. Wait, what's the other command? Let me go on my phone. What the fuck? Uh-oh. She shall, he bow. Calm down. Calm down. I didn't say, nope. I told nobody not to do your trick yet. Say, ah. No, hold on. I'm about to call the police. Kill him. Kill it. Now she sell?
Already. Shout out to I Show Speed talking about Black Mirror. These robots already malfunctioning. It's the first time I've seen somebody with one of them dogs.
The world is getting scary. The technological beast is almost here. Just like this right there. Fear not, bro. Something can be scary without us fearing it. The world's in a scary place. So last year I showed you guys where the AI can read your literal brain, your thought waves into words by your iris. So much more has been added to their skill set. Right here you'll see that Wi-Fi can detect where you are in the room.
Is they had a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, like, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room, and this is what they're able to reconstruct. Real-time, 3D.
Yo, that's freaking crazy. And of course, we have the gene's influence ability to read people's mind through their eyes. Not to mention, I literally showed you guys in an old book called A Ridicule Mind where all these mad scientists got together. They can read your brain patterns from outside of you. The technology that we see is nothing compared to what they had been had. Of course, we have the AI makes non-invasive mind reading possible. What about that sounds non-invasive? Reading your freaking mind? And this mind reading technology has been around for a long time. And some people even claim that they've been reading our minds since the TV screen. That's neither here nor there. The LEDs in your freaking house can communicate back to a source. Are you getting the picture? And here's more on that Wi-Fi sonar where they can literally track you down with things in your house. Really makes you reconsider what Elon Musk is doing with all these Starlink satellites. I don't think privacy's existed in a long time. Elon's also the person building armies of literal humanoid robots that I'm sure will be infused with AI. So again, you really have to ask yourself why. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Watching us always. Shout out to Inspired by the King. It's crazy we got Wi-Fi sonar before GTA 6. If you want to see what these robots are doing, just ask I Show Speed.
Pretty extraordinary. This does not happen, obviously, every day where U.S. authorities go in and seize the plane of a head of state. But that is essentially what's happened this morning. Can you break this down for us?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the plane of Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, is now in the hands of the United States. As you can see there, those images demonstrate that it has just landed in Florida. It was seized by U.S. authorities in the Dominican Republic. That is according to multiple U.S. officials who spoke with our colleague Priscilla Alvarez about this. And how this all came to fruition, Jim, is that this plane was in the Dominican Republic in recent months. We don't know exactly why, but that presented the opportunity for U.S. authorities to work with authorities in the Dominican Republic to actually make up a plan and seize the plane. And just to give folks context, this plane is effectively the Air Force One of Venezuela. This is a plane that cost about $13 million, the U.S. estimates. It's been used by Maduro to travel around the world, to make visits, to see other world leaders and the like. It's now in the hands of the U.S. government. It's an extraordinary move. The U.S. has for years been trying to disrupt the flow of goods and finances, money going into Venezuela. For example, they have disrupted luxury cars going into the country. But we should note that this is just such a bold move because according to one of those U.S. officials who spoke with our colleague, this is unheard of and sends a signal that no one is out of the reach of U.S. sanctions. So they...
What in the heck? Why? Well, I am so lost. Has anybody got a clue why we took the Air Force One of Venezuela? So we'll open the borders up and let all your people in. Apparently we don't want just your people, we want your plane too. Like, what is going on anymore? This is not something we do. You just heard, this is unheard of. Like, we would go to war if somebody even thought they were going to touch Air Force One. And we just totally deboed dude's plane. Like, somebody get in the comments and tell me why the hell we would want this president's plane, and why the things we do, boy, you wonder why people don't like us. I mean, come on now. If I had to take a guess, I'm going to say there's clearly something on that plane that they wanted. As you see, they got officials all up in there searching it and whatnot. What was on that plane that we wanted so badly?
Name of a restaurant in Chinese. It might not work. Is the Army turning this thing into a migrant shelter? Why are you guys here? It's a hotel. Why is the Army at this hotel?
We're here at the request of the state of New York.
The state of New York has put the Army into hotels? What the hell is that about? This is a public hotel, right? What is the Army doing in this hotel? Have you guys taken over this hotel? What is?
So you can't record.
What the fuck is the Army doing taking over civilian hotels in the middle of New York City? I can't record. So this is what I'm talking about, people. Do you think those guys are there to help you or me? What is going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, pay very close attention to what's going on in Colorado. The governor says that there's not an issue and that this is fake news. It's not happening. But for Aurora, Colorado, what did the mayor, Mike Kaufman, say? Yes, it's going on. They've taken over several complexes and that there are law enforcement that are going to take care of it. But how you have the governor saying one thing and the mayor saying another, that's the power of the media. And just imagine, like, there could be a full-blown invasion. But if they don't put it over the airways, if they don't suppress the information, they could take over the whole United States. We won't even know it. But now, the same situation that's going on in Colorado, don't think it can't happen in other states as well. Well, maybe not Texas, Arizona, Florida, places like that. But other places, yeah.
Shout out to True JB7, making an excellent point. If it can happen there, it can happen anywhere. It shows you how point the media is, and what it's supposed to be doing, what it's not. That's the crazy part.
Gangs have pushed out property management through intimidation and are collecting rent.
The police in Denver also on high alert. We spoke to Mayor Mike Johnson about how the Mile High City is tackling these issues. Fox 1's Aaliyah Sims getting some answers for us tonight. Aaliyah.
Yeah, Erica, Mayor Mike Johnston said Denver police have already been working with federal, state, as well as other local agencies because they were made aware of the problem early on. Now, he says while there's no evidence of Denver apartments being taken over by Venezuelan gangs, he says they are providing a heavier police presence in areas that are a risk.
Yes, and it's infuriating. It should never happen in this state. It should never happen in Denver.
That's Mayor Mike Johnston's reaction to the many videos that continue to make headlines about Venezuelan gang violence in the Denver metro area.
Obviously, that video was not taking place in Denver, and we are going to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't ever.
In a statement, Denver police appear to indicate the same, saying they take the presence of the TDA gang seriously. While DPD says they believe there are reasons members of the gang are tied to crimes in the area, the department says they are not aware of any apartments being taken over by the group within the metro area.
We're not tolerating that in Denver. We don't see any evidence of that in Denver.
I find it very hard to believe that has not gone into the city limits of Denver. Maybe they don't have enough intel yet to specifically say that they can tie that to the TDA gang.
James Albee, law enforcement procedural expert, says he believes city leaders are downplaying the seriousness of the problem.
I think they're trying to mitigate some of the fear and concerns that the community may end up having over this gang that I think is growing more and more every day.
He says
Is America hearing that? Like, I'm gonna run it back to where you can see these videos.
This is American Glass Research, the building where we're told Thomas Crooks, the lone nut assassin, perched atop to take shots at Donald Trump. This is interesting. Here's Unit 9 of Building 6. Inside this building is an ad hoc task force of local law enforcement, SWAT teams, and special operators. Notice the door is locked from the inside. Documents released by Congress only account for Butler County PD and Beaver County ESU snipers in the building.
I think they're on the
We see one individual in a Secret Service uniform, seen here, approaching from the rear hall.
Ladders anywhere?
So the ladders are en route.
Ladders are en route.
So the operator suffered lacerations to the hands from climbing up, and so they might need minor stitching.
Okay.
What was he doing there 18 minutes after the shooting, and how long had he been there? They seemed to be coming from right back here, somewhere in the rear of the building. Maybe one of these two windows. That's exactly where they tell us Crooks was perched, shooting at Trump.
I wound up being the last judge hearing the James Earl Ray matter. Did he in fact assassinate Dr. Martin Luther King? And had he not died and his local attorney not died in close succession, it would have been my finding that he was not the gunman. That Remington 760 Game Master they've got in the Civil Rights Museum is not the murder weapon. It's not even close. And it was a two-man hit team that killed him from the fire station dormitory. It wasn't the flop house, and it wasn't in those bushes. So yeah, I got into the deep details of Dr. King, and that 3 or 4 year period that case was kicking around in front of me.
So you're saying that James Earl Ray did not kill Martin?
No, he didn't kill him.
Even though most people, when he was convicted for it, right?
He didn't kill him. It's interesting, the homicide file for the Memphis Police Department reaches the same conclusion back in 1968. They entered their file in protest to the DA's office. Their conclusion was that Ray is not the gunman. He was not even in Memphis that day. We know conclusively where he was.
So why do you think he got convicted for the murder?
Well, he didn't get convicted. He pled guilty. You have to understand, though, the news media puts it out as he was the self-confessed killer of King. That's not true. All through the transcripts, the entirety of the record, he never confessed, and often he said, I never said I killed King. I didn't kill him. I'm pleading cause of Alford. That's A-L-F-O-R-D. It's a moderately old U.S. Supreme Court case, and it says, even if you are not actually guilty and you are pristinely innocent, you may plead guilty to the charge if you think that doing so is in your best interest under all of the circumstances as you know them to be, and you're doing so freely, voluntarily, understandingly, knowingly, advisedly, and intelligently. So Ray had gone through all of these and had lost, but there was something that came up. Modern scientific methodology took away one further necessary element. All of these things had to be there, and the state had to have a reasonable factual basis upon which to proceed otherwise. The thing the state relied upon was the rifle, but modern scientific methodology excluded that rifle from being the murder weapon. The bullet they pull out of King's body has a rate of rifling twist of 1 turn in every 11 1/4 inches. The rifle that Ray had a rate of rifling twist of 1 turn in every 10 inches and a bad manufacturing defect that is not apparent on the death slug. He was shot with an XM21. It's a 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO caliber weapon with a special stainless steel barrel, a 3-9 telescopic sight modified by a company known as Leatherwood. It was a Redfield sight, and they used special subsonic ammunition with a suppressor on the end to reduce the velocity of the bullet to below supersonic to confuse the sound signature. The shot came from the dormitory in the fire station through a window that had been slightly parted. They were several feet inside. It was a 2-man team, a spotter and a shooter. That's what he got killed by. If you shoot somebody at that closer range, which was about 50, 60 yards, with a 30 caliber rifle anywhere in the torso, if the individual is standing next to an emergency room, it's a non-survivable wound. But what they did is they took a headshot they almost missed because the bullet was reduced in velocity. It hit King on the right cheek, took out some molars, wrecked his tongue, came out between his jaws, left the body, hit his clavicle, ricocheted under the skin that covered the clavicle, nicked his carotid artery, went over his right shoulder, down across the back and lodged between the left scapula and his back skin. And the bullet never penetrated his thorax. Now that sounds a little weird, but it's not uncommon. So he bled out from the nicked carotid artery and they almost missed the shot.
Shout out to Judge Joe Brown. Sounds like he was the last judge on the case. So he had access to a lot of things. But boy, hearing it described so detailed, and shout out to Vlad TV. He's obviously the interviewer. But man, I never heard this before.
Now, is this his attorney? Hi, guys. Felix, nice to meet you. I'm Jason Goodman.
Hi, Tom.
Are you his lawyer?
Yes.
Will you be involved in this interview?
Was not planning on.
Yeah.
He has to come back to court tomorrow.
Okay.
So we need to go and sit down for an hour and prepare because I'm not back here. It's lawyers only.
Okay, so when would you like to meet and talk?
Somebody coming to the city, which is
Friday. All right, let's talk Friday.
Are you okay with that?
That's fine.
This gentleman believes that.
Well, I mean, Andrew Weissman said he doesn't know you. That's not true.
You'll have to ask Andrew. I don't.
But you signed two agreements with him. You know Andrew Weissman, right? You've met him, right?
But you're saying that me and what's his name?
Michael Cohen?
Oh, yes. Conspired with the FBI to set up Donald.
I think that.
Like
I think that might have happened because it seems like you were an FBI asset in 2017. You signed that confidential agreement.
I started working for
1998,
the Intelligence Agency in '98. Then it was the CIA. Then it was God knows.
But then in 2017, you signed another agreement with Andrew Weissman when he was the lead prosecutor for Mueller. That was put out into the public by The Intercept. So you're secretly working for the FBI. The public doesn't know that. Did the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence know that you were an FBI asset?
Of course they did.
Are you sure?
Of course.
That's not on the record. You don't say that. It didn't come out until 2019. They said you were uncooperative.
No, they said I was uncooperative for a variety of reasons.
But nobody said that you were working for the FBI and that you had signed an agreement with Robert Mueller's lead investigator while you were testifying as a Trump associate.
I didn't sign an agreement with... No. Hold on. I never signed an agreement with them.
2017, you didn't sign an agreement?
No.
There's
I was called as a witness.
Your name on a page with Weissman, with Wolf. Are you Mr. Wolf?
Robert Wolf was my attorney.
That's not Robert Wolf.
No, that's not.
So on that agreement with Robert Wolf is your signature and Weissman's signature, and then subsequent to that agreement, you signed it. I don't have it in front of me.
You know how many government piece of paper I signed in my life?
The point is, you were a cooperating witness. In Weissman's book, he mentions you 11 times.
I was a cooperating witness, not against Trump. I was a cooperating
in Weissman's book, he mentions you 11 times, and he says that he personally recommended to Robert Mueller that they bring in Felix Sater as a cooperating witness.
No.
Then that's what he wrote in the book.
He may have. I didn't read the book, which I'm sure Andrew Weissman will be upset about. Well, I'm not reading it until he gives me a signed autographed copy.
You're being silly now. The point
I'm not being
is,
silly.
He says in the book, he mentions your name 11 times throughout the book. He says in the book that the day he's hired, he tells Robert Mueller to bring you in as a cooperating witness. Then he signs an agreement with you, and you testify. You don't say anything about working for the FBI for 25 years. But then You did later admit that, you did. You said that you were tracking individual at-risk missiles that had been given to the Mujahideen in Afghanistan.
That was way before.
Before
you're
that.
conflating.
No, but you did do that,
98
right?
No. So, okay, in 98, it was Stinger missiles. In 99 to 2000, I was hunting bin Laden. No, I'm sorry, 98 was, I was stealing secrets from the Russians on behalf of the U.S. government. Finding missiles.
But how do you have that expertise? You were 6 when you came here.
I don't have an expertise.
How do you find missiles?
I don't have an expertise. I just have an innate ability of getting myself into all sorts of trouble.
I am sympathetic to you because at the age of 25, I was doing a lot of stupid stuff too. The notion that you could get into a bar fight that goes out of control, somebody picks up something. I don't believe that you intended to stab this guy in the face.
I didn't stab him in the face. He tried to hit me with a beer bottle. I hit him with a margarita glass.
And it
was a
got
bar
out of
fight.
control.
And he
I
tried
understand.
to drop the charges.
I understand. So 91, you go to jail, but not until 1998 do you sign this agreement with Valerie Caproni and Andrew Weissman.
Yes, but that was already different.
And you were already working on this deal while Caproni was the head of the organized crime division, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you know Valerie Caproni.
I know, but not really.
But you've met
Even
her.
though it was signed, but not really, no. No, I worked with other people. You have to understand.
But she was in charge of the organized crime division.
They may be in charge, but just because they sign a cooperation agreement or they
She didn't sign it. Weissman signed it.
Just because somebody signs it doesn't mean that you're working with them on a daily basis. You're working with other
But you know her, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
She's aware of you. Of course. You know about TWA 800. That was shot down by a Stinger missile, of course, wasn't it? Was that one of the at-risk missiles that you were tracking from the Mujahideen in Afghanistan? So you say TWA 800 was shot down by one of the Stinger missiles you were tracking.
I don't
You
know.
just said, of course, to that.
Please. I know you're trying. There's no gotchas here. I'm trying to
Not a
answer.
gotcha. I'm asking you a serious question.
I went into Afghanistan and tracked missiles, and I took photographs of the missiles, and I took photographs.
Why did they choose you to do that?
They didn't choose me. I did it, and they
How
were
do you have
beyond
expertise
happy.
to do this?
And I
though?
photographed the serial numbers, and I sent them. To the best I remember was between 10 and 12 Stinger missiles. I have no idea if TWA 800 was one of those 10 or 12 missiles.
What about
or
Greg
something
Scarpa?
else. What about him?
Do you know him?
I've heard of him. I grew up in Brooklyn. How could you grow up in Brooklyn and not know who Greg Scarpa is?
I don't know, but he seems to be very connected to all this, and your lawyer doesn't seem to like the questions
No,
I'm
he doesn't
asking.
need to be. He doesn't need to be.
So,
Go ahead.
you're saying you never interfaced with Andrew Weissman
I didn't
or
say that.
to deal with Michael Cohen? Did Andrew Weissman
I
ever
never-
ask you
never-
to do anything
never.
with Michael Cohen?
Never.
Do you know if
Never.
Michael Cohen was at dinner that was being referred to in 2016, December 2016, with Brennan?
No idea.
You don't know?
No idea. No idea. But I know, I will tell you, the viewers, feel free to check it. I never, ever, ever worked for any government agency against Donald Trump. Ever in my life. I say that.
What about
swear
all
it.
these emails with Michael Cohen about Trump Tower Moscow? He lied about those.
Well, I heard somewhere that Michael has been known
to lie.
To lie.
Not you, though, right?
I've always told the truth. Nobody's ever accused me of lying. Ever.
Okay.
Ever. No one's ever accused me of lying. Why would you accuse me of that? It's like, when
I'm
did
not
you,
accusing you of
when
lying.
did you stop beating your wife?
I'm not accusing you
know
of
what that
lying.
type of question is.
I'm just trying to ask you.
Here, I'll show you.
So
Your
you-
guys, sorry,
you-
your guys will like this. Here, look at the hat. After 6 congressional and Senate hearings and tons of money for lawyers, all I got was this shitty hat.
Didn't they pay you millions of dollars over the 25 years you're going
They
to
never
Russia?
paid me a dime.
So why
I
did you keep
always
doing
did
it?
this on my own dime because I am a patriot. believe
Get
it or
out of
not.
here. That's ridiculous.
I did it on my own dime.
You
The US
risked your
government
life in
never gave me-
Afghanistan.
I risked my life in Afghanistan.
But how do you even have the skills to do this? You're a Brooklyn public school kid. You're not a Spetsnaz.
That's the key. Brooklyn.
Get out of here.
When you're from Brooklyn, you get to pull off a lot of interesting shit.
I think you're embellishing right now.
Not at all. Everything I learned.
So your father was, according to you, involved in organized crime,
You know where I got
right?
my military skills from? Coney
Where?
Island, Brooklyn.
Come on, that's ridiculous. So you said your father was involved in Russian organized crime. Is that correct?
The man passed away. I think it would be really nice to leave.
I'm talking about the past.
Dead.
I'm just asking. You've said it in the past. Is it true or false?
My father was a very interesting and multifaceted
Was he
character,
involved
and I'd
in
like to
organized
leave that.
crime?
But I'm not going to answer that. You already asked me. I said the man's dead. I would appreciate it if we just let.
I just find it so strange. You and I are very similar in that you went to public school, age 6. I don't remember much of what was going on before I was 6. You probably do. It must have been traumatic leaving the Soviet Union and all that travel and everything.
It was.
But essentially, your life is here in the United States. You grow up in Brooklyn. You go to public school. You go to Pace University. Right.
I
So
went
I'm
to
saying
first grade here, second grade
nobody
here, third grade
came
here.
to you when you were in jail first. You were paroled. They let you out early, right?
Yes.
And was there any exchange for that? Did you say, hey, I'm going to go to Afghanistan and help you? Like, why did you get paroled for that?
No, I got paroled because Governor Pataki loved my ass and helped me out.
So then why did you get involved in crime again after you had already been in jail? You get involved in the financial fraud that ultimately leads to the deal with Weissman. Weren't you worried you'd go back to jail?
I was actually involved in that before I went to jail. That's an interesting long story, but I lost everything and needed money to pay for my lawyer to file an appeal. Otherwise, I was going to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I did something that was illegal to make money to pay my lawyer to file an appeal, which he lost, and I went back to jail anyway.
Uh-huh. So then Weissman, who approaches you first about this deal with the DOJ?
No, the Defense Intelligence Agency recruited me in a men's room in a restaurant in Moscow.
So how does that lead to a deal with Andrew Weissman?
Later on, much later on, after working with them on missiles and bin Laden stuff and stealing Russian military secrets, my case on Wall Street came up, and that's when the FBI stepped in. I was already working for U.S. intelligence by that point, but they had a case against me.
Why would they approach you, though? You're just a guy from Brooklyn who doesn't know anything about Russian military
Dude,
stuff.
I was sitting at the table with people. The guy was the former U.S. military attaché, Russian station, Moscow, who walks into a restaurant. He knew some of the guys at the table. I thought that he followed me into the bathroom, took my number down, and then we met the next day at a basically an Irish pub in Moscow. Now I realize that they were watching me for a long time because the guy knew everything about me. He didn't just meet me accidentally. But he basically turned around and said, I can't understand how a kid from Brooklyn who knows nothing about this sits at the table with the type of people that are sitting at this table. Me and my friends, this is him saying, his name was Milton Blaine. He said, me and my friends spent our entire careers and we would celebrate if we just got a copy of their their license plate. We'd follow them for 6 months just to get a license plate number. You're sitting there at the table drinking with these guys. And he said, look, your country needs you, but if you get caught being somebody who was born in Russia, who came back and spied against them, you're going to hope that they kill you fast. And I looked at Milton and I said, Milton, are you trying to talk me into this or out of this? I'm in, let's go. And that's how I got.
And they never paid you any money at all. We hear all these other guys get tons of money to be confidential human informants.
I handed over satellite phone numbers on Osama bin Laden. I stopped a bomb attack on the London Underground.
I mean, I've heard all of this, of course.
It's all true. And by the way, you know the DNC hack?
I've heard about it.
Has to do with me too.
What does that have to do with you?
Well, I stopped two major...
Who hacked the DNC, according to you?
I don't know. But I know what happened was that I stopped two major hacking rings back in the middle 2000s. And a week before the Russian DNC hack story broke, the U.S. Attorney's Office called my lawyer, Robert Wolf, to come to a closed hearing with the judge, saying we need to keep that part sealed of when Felix broke those two big hacking rings.
How did you break a hacking ring? How do you have all these skills?
I went Well, I worked with the FBI to set up a whole sting operation.
But you didn't do that with Michael Cohen.
I didn't do that with Michael. I never did anything with Michael Cohen. Look, and the Trump Moscow thing, Donald assigned Michael to do it because he was busy on the campaign.
You and I have something else in common. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm afraid to ask, but go ahead.
John Snyder.
How do you know John Snyder? He just left.
I know.
How do you know John?
He didn't tell you this?
No.
You didn't tell him that you were going to be speaking to me?
No.
Oh, he was my attorney.
He just walked away a minute ago. He was with me.
He tried to withdraw from your case. You must be pretty unhappy with him. He did the same thing to me.
Jason, I've stopped being unhappy with people because all you could do is...
Why did he want to withdraw from your case?
Because he's busy building his AI dream and his company. He's no longer practicing. Doesn't want to practice.
But he's still your attorney. They wouldn't let him withdraw.
They wouldn't let him out, no.
So what do you think about that?
Which part? That they didn't let him out or that he wants to withdraw? I think it's all shitty.
What do you think about the fact that you were his only client when he represented me and the judge was Valerie Caproni?
Ironies of life.
You just think that's a coincidence?
Yeah, that's
Oh, definitely a coincidence.
That was definitely.
There's no way. And do you know Adam Sharp? Do you know who that is?
I think so.
Yeah, you know Adam Sharp.
I'll tell you in a second. I think I do.
He's kind of like a CIA asset or operative or something like that.
Adam S-H-A-R-P?
Yeah.
No.
You don't know Adam Sharp? No. Well, it's interesting because he's the CEO of the Emmys and he used to work for Twitter. And you know that the FBI controls Twitter, right?
I don't think they control it, but I think they're definitely looking in hard.
Well, they were pretty much controlling it. Their general counsel, Jim Baker, went over to Twitter to become the deputy general counsel over there. Your buddy Andrew Weissman was also the FBI general counsel, and the judge, Valerie Caproni, was also the FBI general counsel. All these FBI people seem to be hanging around you. Jonathan Snyder represents you. He tries to withdraw. Well, he succeeds in withdrawing. He threatens me and withdraws from the case after sinking it. Judge Caproni was originally presiding over your case. Did she say that I know Felix Sater? Yes, she was.
When?
City of Cosmati.
Caproni was on my case.
Wasn't she?
No.
Initially?
No.
We better go check Pacer because
It was Nathan.
I'm pretty sure Caproni was there.
No.
And then she got kicked off when the plaintiffs said, oh, this is not the judge it's supposed to go to. It's supposed to go to the... Well, we'll check Pacer on that. But it's pretty interesting that all of these coincidences are happening. I think
My life is... You want to stop? You don't need to do that to him.
Well, he's looking at you in a way that makes me think he doesn't like the direction the conversation is going.
Of course, he's a lawyer.
Yeah, but you didn't tell me he was going to be here.
Hi. All right.
Anyway, I don't understand how you're losing all this money and buying Toomey bags and going all around the world, and it doesn't make sense to me. Isn't this a Toomey bag?
A Toomey bag is a big... It's not Louis Vuitton.
It's expensive.
Not that expensive. I'll show you where to get them cheap.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, listen, Felix, I appreciate you taking the time to speak to me.
Thanks.
I might have some questions in the future. Thank you for confirming.
It was nice meeting you.
Thank you for confirming that Andrew Weissman lied. I'm pretty sure I saw Caproni presiding over your case.
Lied. I don't know what Andrew said.
You haven't seen the video that I've posted on Twitter a million times?
Not really. Oh, no, I saw your last video just before.
The last video you saw. All right.
Let me go.
Take care, Felix. Have a nice day. Thank you. Watch out for the individual missiles from Afghanistan. Wow. That was interesting. Super duper Gorky Park, right? Like meeting right here in Thomas Paine Park. We should have done it in front of that giant sword. The lawyer was getting super nervous, didn't like the questions. I don't know why. Lawyers don't like me.
Yeah, he was asking a lot of questions. I could see why the lawyer don't like him. He knew a lot of names, lots of name dropping right there. Shout outs to John Goodman. That was like watching an episode of Law and Order. Only in New York you can find an interview like that.
Being depressed is to be in deep rest. It means your body and mind are resting too much, and you're missing this one thing from your daily routine. Consider yourself lucky if you're seeing this. It's probably the most important thing you'll hear all day, and chances are the algorithm's not going to show this to a lot of people. According to human energy field theory and quantum physics, everything is energy. From our thoughts to all that you see around you, it's all energy vibrating at different frequencies. And the only reason you and I exist is to turn the energy of our thoughts into physical reality. These ideas are commonly dismissed by the masses as hippie woo-woo nonsense, but more and more quantum theories are actually starting to provide a scientific basis for it. Everything is energy. Even Einstein said it with E equals MC squared. Your thoughts, your body, every physical object around you is energy. Emerging theoretical sciences like quantum physics or string theory are slowly uncovering what ancient mystics may have already known for thousands of years. Humans are the force by which the energy field of thinking is converted to become the energy of the physical world. Look around you. Almost everything you see used to be a thought that became real when people partook in the process of creation. This fidget spinner was once just a thought that only existed in someone's mind before the actions were taken to turn it into a physical object. The same applies to non-physical creations like music, ideologies, businesses, and theories. A human's main purpose is to create, and if we go prolonged periods without doing that, we end up in a state of deep rest. Depressed. When was the last time you created something, worked on a side project outside of school or work that you're just excited to work on? It's in moments like those, when we're working towards creating something that we are genuinely passionate about, that we feel the most alive and the furthest from being depressed. We get inspired to create through our information diet. The content we consume, watch, listen to, read about, all either fuels or inhibits our ability to create. Every thought that has entered your head, every bit of information you've consumed in your life has led you up until this point right here. There's a reason we loved stupid cartoons, Lego, coloring books, playing in the sand, or even Minecraft when we were younger. They're all tools, part of our information diet, that if used right can inspire creation. A great childhood consists of consistent creating and imagination, which is why life felt so light and free back then. When we get bogged down with work, school, chores, responsibilities, errands, and are too tired at the end of the day to create, we start getting sad and gloomy. The happiest people are the ones who take on side projects, hobbies, mini passion obsessions on their own terms outside of work or school, or even just those who genuinely love their jobs, because they are creating something with some sort of end vision in mind. They are turning the energy of their thoughts into physical manifestations. And when they achieve that vision, they move on to the next thing, enjoying the process more than they do the end result. Doctors will never tell you this, because depression is a multi-billion-dollar industry with all the pharmaceuticals and therapists that are meant to keep you hooked on that low state so they can keep getting paid. To be honest, it's kind of the reason I started making these videos. I was bored with where my life was and started creating something I was genuinely interested in and shared it with others. Now, depression may very well be a chemical imbalance in your brain that needs physical attention, so this is not medical advice by any means. But don't use that as an excuse to not even try to create, to work on something meaningful in your life. Don't let those doubtful thoughts in your mind or even the opposing comments on this video put you down. Every human brain will feel happier if they are creating, working on something they genuinely love and believe in every single day. Jordan Peterson said it best: work as hard as you possibly can on at least one thing every single day and see what happens. Give it a shot. Think about everything you loved doing when you were younger and write it all down in a giant list. Then narrow it down to a handful of root reasons as to why you were interested in everything in that list to begin with. Read that list every day and fine-tune your information diet to only things that support that list, and eventually a stroke of inspiration, an idea so amazing that you will have no choice but to pursue it, will hit you. And that idea will cause your mind to shift and to actually be genuinely excited to create whatever that thing is in your life and awaken from your state of deep rest. Try it if you feel like you're ever stuck in a mental rut. Change your mind and you will change your life.
Shout out to Felix Sater, bro, for sure. I was definitely feeling that one and agree 100%. Legos was my thing when I was a kid.
This video of Ice Spice is going viral, and it's a video of her during prayer, but just pay very close attention to what she does with her hands when they're done praying.
His whole hands. Lord, thank you so much for bringing this amazing group together right now with this amazing stream and our amazing teams, Lord. we are all from the same place, and we are all trying to get to the same place, which is the top. And we all want to experience different things in our lives, chat. So thank you so much for bringing all of us together. And I pray that you allow us to grow on other people, on each other. And I pray that you allow us to reach any measures in this life. And you just watch over us daily. You bless us. You allow us to bless other people with our work and our amazing craft. And you help us enjoy this night. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you haven't already, please take a second
just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell,
just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. So what we gonna do, y'all? That's right. Run these numbers up. Thanks again. Until next time.